We process over 240 research items every single day across multiple brands. Each item needs categorization, trend extraction, content hook identification, and strategic assignment. You can't do this manually at scale, so we stopped thinking about tools and started thinking about infrastructure. This isn't really an AI story, it's a systems story. Most people approach AI backwards. They obsess over which model, which tool, which prompt, which is the wrong focus. The real leverage comes from architecture, because tools change constantly, whereas infrastructure compounds. And this system became the first real proof asset inside our AI operating system. 6 months ago, we had a bottleneck. We run multiple brands. Each brand requires daily research, trend monitoring, audience intelligence, content opportunities, and competitive awareness. And the process was almost always completely manual. We were scrolling feeds, opening tabs, copying links, taking notes, organizing ideas, trying to identify patterns. We were spending over 8 hours every single week just collecting information. And even then, we were still missing trends. The issue wasn't effort, the issue was scale. Manual processes eventually collapse under volume. And that's when we realized this wasn't a research problem, it was an architecture problem. We had two choices, either accept the bottleneck or build the systems to remove it. We chose systems. Before selecting tools, we mapped the architecture. This is the part most people skip. We asked what layers are actually required, what problem does each layer solve, and what happens if the layer fails. Layer 1, sources. We pulled from Reddit, AI blogs, RSS feeds, Substack, and other research channels. Every source has different formats, different schemas, different structures, and different failure points. So the first requirement became standardization. Everything gets normalized into one consistent structure. Same fields, same formatting, same expectations. Then we hit the next major problem, duplication. The same article appearing from multiple sources. Without a deduplication, the same content gets analyzed repeatedly. That means wasted API spend, distorted trends, duplicate insights, and bad strategic signals. So deduplication became foundational. Then came the analysis layer. This changed everything. Most people ask Claude for essays. We stopped doing that. Instead, requested JSON files, specific fields, specific outputs, and machine-readable structure, because infrastructure cannot reliably parse prose. Then finally, output. These results flow directly into Google Sheets, not because Google Sheets is powerful, but because the team actually use it. That's an important principle. Accessibility matters more than technical purity, and this entire system reinforced one thing: architecture matters more than tools. Here's what happens every morning at 8 a.m. The workflow triggers automatically, no human involvement. The system first reads the configuration layer, which brands to process, which sources to fetch, and which feeds belong to which brand. Then the workflow loops through every brand automatically. Each source fetches in parallel: Reddit, blogs, RSS, Substack, X. Raw data starts flowing in. At this point, the information is messy. Different formats, different structures, different quality levels. Then normalization begins. Everything gets transformed into one standard schema. Then deduplication runs. Duplicate articles are removed before analysis. Then Claude processes the clean dataset, and because we're using structured output, the analysis becomes reliable and usable. The final results get pushed directly to Google Sheets, ready for content strategy, trend analysis, hook extraction, and execution. Total runtime, roughly 90 seconds, every day, automatically. This is what operational infrastructure looks like. Not flashy, not complicated, just reliable. Building systems teaches operational lessons very quickly. First, deduplication is foundational. Without it, everything downstream becomes distorted. Second, structure is non-negotiable. Natural language feels intelligent. Structured output is operationally useful. Third, schedules beat manual execution. If systems depend on memory, they eventually fail. Infrastructure runs on schedules. Fourth, logging everything pays for itself. Every API call, every error, every execution, every failure. At 2 p.m., logging feels excessive. At 3 a.m., during a production issue, logs become priceless. And finally, operating systems are completely different from building them. Builders optimize for novelty. Operators optimize for reliability. The best systems become invisible. Nobody notices them because they simply continue working. Boring is success. AI is not the system. AI is a component inside the system. Architecture matters more than tools, and these principles apply far beyond research automation. Layered systems, structured output, monitoring, deduplication, operational thinking. This is what AI native go-to-market actually looks like. Not adding AI onto existing workflows, but embedding intelligence directly into operations. Running continuously, improving continuously, feeding every strategic decision. That's infrastructure, and infrastructure compounds. If you're interested in systems thinking, AI native operations, or go-to-market infrastructure, follow along. We're documenting the entire process in public.